Hello, everybody. I am thanking you for joining me in this unusual ARV endeavor here, ARV and Roulette, and we're going to get into the roulette um, quickly. Not going to give nearly as much introduction, but enough if there's any brand newbies here. So let's proceed. Um, this really is both an introduction and a reminder to those of you who have done ARV before. There's just one slide. I'm going to go through it now. And then we'll get right into the prediction. So ARV is all about doing a remote viewing session, a standard remote viewing session, describe and sketch your feedback target. And then at a later time, you will see that feedback target. That's why it's called precognition, because you're doing it before you had any way of knowing it. This target is chosen rather randomly. Now, I like to say and truly believe precognition begins with the feedback session, because that's the truth point. How could you get these great descriptions, which all of us get sometimes? None of us have learned how to get it all the time, but you get this great description, and that's because it begins here when you see the truth point, and then in what's called retrocausality, that information is passed back to your remote viewing session. And then the only other aspect of associative remote viewing is there's judging in between, analysis and judging. So in fact, you can act on your prediction before you get the outcome. Now, what's amazing about this is it is showing an aspect of consciousness that has been out there, but hasn't quite been viewed until, I don't know, viewed in this way, in a way that's with ARV. Because here's where it all begins, and here's where your subconscious gets involved, and it does what Kramer, a physicist, a quantum mechanical physicist, called the handshake. And this is a handshake which provides this information to your remote viewing session. Now, this handshake uses what I like to call entanglement energy, because that's what's going on here. You are entangling between your remote viewing session and your feedback session. And this entanglement energy would get boosted, I believe, if you have focused intention, positive expectation, and joyful emotion through the whole process, and before and after, and all the while you're involved in this psi activity. Now, how really at the base of this is what I call a universe of collective consciousness, the UCC, but this idea has been around for a very long time. The Akashic Record, all that is, Ingo Swann called it the Matrix. There's something really deep that contains all information, past, present, and future. And so this is how you can get this information, and this is the connection. And I think it's so important every time you get involved in this and do a prediction to really get the sense, get your sub in a place where you get a sense of it and a sense of it being connected to the UCC. And the more you do this, I believe, the more you can get that feeling. You know, it's always there, but you want to have that feeling so you get accurate information. Any questions on this, comments? Okay. This is ARV in the deepest sense. And the whole while you're paying attention and learning about yourselves. So Joe McMonagle, Ed May said intention, expectation, and attention are the three most important aspects. I agree with that. Okay, let's do a new prediction. I need to do one other thing, which I'm ready to do. And that is, I am now going to send all of you in your emails this tasking. Okay, so if you check your email, you will get a tasking. That is a standard tasking, but this is for the webinar workshop members. If anybody didn't get this, let me know, because guess what? The next thing you do is click here to get your coordinate. Okay, and we're going to be doing roulette. And this is binary. And roulette has this green possibility here for the ball to fall on. I'm assuming you all have a rough idea of what roulette is. They spin the wheel, and up will come one of these 37 numbers, including 0. And that's where they make their money. But since we're binary, we have to always have an outcome. So red will be one outcome, black or green will be the other outcome. Now, did you all get your, I'm going to assume that's a yes, but if nobody get it, I'll sign you up for this group. But I think you're all signed in. Excellent. So, having done that, the question is, will roulette ball fall on red or green? And the tasking, as always, is describe and or sketch your feedback target. Now, when you click here, and I'm just going to do mine, I'll put in my name here, but you, of course, put in your email name. That is the unique identifier for you. And already webinar workshop is marked. So you simply click here and you will get something like this with your username and your coordinate. If anybody is not at that point, you may be further ahead. Now is, since you have a coordinate, that's all it takes to do a remote viewing session. So do your remote viewing session. I'll go back to my PowerPoint, so you should see that. And you've got your coordinate. And now you do an RV session with that coordinate. I recommend saying in quotes the coordinate at least 5 to 10 times out loud to your sub. So you can say it out loud, or you can just say it internally. This is my feedback coordinate. Feedback coordinate. This is my feedback coordinate. That, I believe, can enhance the entanglement. And you do this not, you do this with a deep intention to describe and or sketch your feedback target. So I think you all understand. You start with a sheet of paper, you write your coordinate, you do some preliminaries, and then you start. So you're going to drop your intellectual, drop the ego. As you do your cool down, breathing is a good approach, but some people like music. Joe McMonagle believes it's very important, and that's because he gets in touch with his sub and the connection with something like the UCC. Joe McMonagle does a silent, Tom McNair does a silent prayer, and he knows it's an all-knowing entity, and he calls that entity God. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 minutes. And be it just an honest witness to your subconscious. If you get anything from your ego, its only job is to put stuff on a transcript. And if it gives you info, put it on the right side of your transcript. 10 minutes just began, and I'll let you know when there's a minute left. Okay, you have a minute left. If you haven't already, write end or EOS for end of transcript on your transcript, and that ends the remote viewing session. Okay. You might stretch a little. Sometimes you get into a different place when you're in touch with your subconscious in the UCC. Okay, and now the next step is to number every element for the analysis phase, which is next. And every element includes ideograms. I know a lot of you use ideograms. And if you use the IAB, then notice you number the information that you got there. 2, 3, then there were words here, 4, 5, 6, 7. New ideogram became 9. In the IAB approach, you got 10 and 11, a bunch of words. Now, some of you may not, I hope you all use at least an ideogram, but nevertheless, as you can see here, the point is you number each one of these elements because they are going to make up the basic part of the analysis. And then sketches, the same thing. Here, combine both sketches. Sometimes the tree might have been a different number than this, but in this case, they just did 1. And then they also numbered their summary. And notice the AOLs do get numbered. As you all know, they're not always right, which is fine, but sometimes they're right on. And here you go, okay? So this whole thing took 5 minutes. I gave you 10. I suspect some of you are already into this phase. Now let's do the analysis. And I'm going to show you how. And there may be questions, maybe not. I don't know if you look like you're been around. Veterans. I say old bees, some people don't like that. So your job is to match your transcript to 2 possible targets. For feedback, you're going to be shown the correct, only one feedback target, and that's where you got your RV information from. Now, what you need to do now to jump right into the analysis is get your transcript onto your computer. So you do a browse, and once you do that, once you get it on your computer, and this is just the place where you got your coordinates, so it's probably still on your computer. And then once you get it in there, you click submit, and it'll show in here, and then submit will be ready to go. So let me give you a few minutes to do that. Okay, I can go ahead and you can still be doing this. And then once you click submit, this is the key part of the analysis. you will see one of the two possible choices. One is called photosite A, the other is called photosite B. Clever, right? And um, and then under here, you have all of these drop-down menus. And in this case, the drop-down menu, which were chosen by the viewer, was ideogram, but didn't get anything. So the drop-down menu is blank. And for photosite A, those are the three choices: big A, little a, and blank. And then you can see also for the analytical response, if you're doing IAB as they were, got a blank. Then got two colors on the transcript, but on this one, they were both blank. There were no matches. You know, black and white, in fact, are colors, but they, well, when you see the next one, you'll see they had other colors. And there's clearly man-made, marked out with a big A, clearly lots of vegetation, mark that with a big A. I'm sort of talking here because I know this takes a little bit of time. There are people here, so that's person. Now, very, very important, and I'm probably going to say it at least twice more, is this element 30. In our new HAG approach, again, that can only be big A, little a, or blank. The big A says, this was pretty good. I really feel comfortable with it. I got a lot of good matches. Little a says it's on the margin. And then a blank, of course, says I want to pass. In the TARG system, the big A counts as 5 points. The little a counts as 3.5, which is the first one where you could wager in the TARG system. And then a blank is a pass. Now, this is so important because we're going to be doing HAG analysis, which is really good for analysis, but ultimately it's this little a. And then for photosite B, notice here, this is a big B. So this will be the prediction for this person because you need to have a big B, a little a big B, a blank. If they're the same, it's a pass. But in this case, you've got the big B felt much better about this one than the other one. Notice here, I talked about the colors. In this case, the colors are here twice. And so she got some different things, she or he. Now, the other thing I want to mention, because in the HAG calculation, which is a pretty good calculation of giving you a feeling, a good estimate of whether it's photosite A or B, this FIG, first impression gestalt, that counts as 50% in the equation. And so here it was a 0.8. Back here, it was a 0.3. So we really expect when you do this that it's very clear photosite B would be the prediction. But ultimately, you always have to click this and then do it because then it's saved, but then you can come back. So I am now going to do this, but I warn you, unfortunately, I did not have the HAG for this case, but you must click this because this is what saves your prediction. And I'm just saying this is a new example because we expected it to be B, and I just wasn't able to find that. But so this is a new example. But notice in this example, it very clearly tells you your prediction is down. So you will be told whether it's up, down, or a pass based on HAG. And in this case, side A, your prediction is side A, which is down. This all comes from the server. And this is the first time anybody knows that that was down. And you can see you had a high CRA there. Okay, I'm assuming you're all going along. The HAG analysis, you can review and change. Now that you've seen this, you may want to go back and, I'm not quite sure. Sometimes these numbers are pretty close and you can go back and change the elements and categories, well, the elements in your categories. And so this is, in my opinion, a good guidance, but remember, all that matters is what you do for big A, little a, and blank, big B, little b, and blank. This is a change from what we did before, and appropriately, there have been a lot of questions. And so this is one time I'm trying to clear that up. So now, just set it again. A, big A, little a blank, big B, little b blank. That determines the prediction. Everything else is guidance. This, the HAG, is guidance. Your own intuition is guidance. But what will determine it in our server, in the HAG30 we approach, is how these compare. I'm going to just say a little bit more about HAG because I do think it's a good analysis. Russ Targ and his group, they started the 0 to 7 system, but Joe McGonigal added this concept of gestalts being worth half of the analysis. And then Tom McNear adds harsh. This is where the harsh comes from, in a nice way. He's such a nice guy. And it changed some of the arithmetic in a usually minor way. Now, what are figs? First impression gestalts. Joe McMonaco found, and we found also, that most often, but not always, nothing is always, it seems, in this business, what first impression that you get of the big picture is generally accurate. And the figs, he wants to count them for 50%. Of course, water, fluid, land, geometric shapes, space, air, motion. The thing in the photo site, which would be the grabber if you only got to glance at it. And they've done experiments with this. You can actually take in information on a millisecond time frame, and what you will see is the big picture stuff. Okay. Enough of this, right? Let's get to our feedback, which we can only get by doing the roulette. And I will send you a link after the outcome is known so that you can get the feedback target. Now we're using betus.com.pa. I don't know if any of you recently signed up. Can an element be both A? Yes. And if it's both A and B, then it's a pass, because it said you felt basically the same about both of them, Teresa. And if they're both little a, little b, it's a pass. Did any of you happen to sign up for betus.com? Because if you did, here's my account number. And if you let them know, I get some bonus points, which are nice. Did any of you do it? I would just like to know. No. I was hoping there would be interest in doing it together, including the online. But if not, then there's no major reason for doing this. I could just do regular life. So here you get the feeling, that they're really honest. Because as you'll now see, I want to go to my Google. Okay. So this is Betus, and betus.com gets you here as well. So all I'm going to do is go to their casino. and then live dealer. Why are they making me log in again? But that's okay. So I'll go to casino again. And now live dealer. And I'm going to put up $25. And you can see they have live blackjack, but we want live roulette. And we will do $1 to $100. Okay, now, okay, this is saying in progress, so I couldn't place a bet even if I wanted to. But what I'm going to do, oh, I'm not ready to place a bet yet. Hold on. We have to do this key element. Each of you know what your prediction is, but I would like to bet based on the group. I keep having this hope, and this is actually an experiment with that, where when we all do it at the same time, that there will be somehow we'll do better as a group. The groups sometimes do well, sometimes not. They're not much better than individuals. But what you're seeing now is group manager stuff, which is me. And I'll be able to see what all of you put in. Okay, we got 2 passes. So you didn't all do it. And please, I want to discuss with you why not. But first, let's finish this. One person did side 1, and side 1 is red. So, I was hoping there would be more of a thing, but I'm willing to bet $5 on red. It won't let me do it until it says. Okay, place your bets. So that's pretty clear. The minimum happens to be $5 on the outside. And there we go. So I place my bet, but you can see, one of the things I used to worry about was that the roulette and everything was fixed. They could see how I was wagering, and how do I know that it's honest? Now you can see that it's honest. Here's this guy. He's about to roll it. And this will give us our outcome. It'll be either red or black-green. Oh, I made $5. Okay. So we won, but more importantly, we now know what the outcome is. So let me go back to my general manager place. And you notice there's 3 steps: the ARV step, the prediction step, and now there is the outcome step. So this is usually invisible to you, but I don't know if it's lucky or unlucky, but you get to see this now. So here's webinar workshop. We're choosing our group. So, and this, notice it says roulette. So this is the right task. and choose the group. There we go. Anastasia, who is doing the sports group, does the same thing. I do all the financial groups. Okay, make sure I get this right. Okay, so now you do this again. And red, which was side one, which is photo side A. So I put side one in here. And this is feedback for the left span. It's nice to put some text in there. Usually I put, okay. The automated one, here we go. Side one indeed is red. Okay, so in your mail, make sure I got it also. You should be shortly getting. There's a new coordinate one. Yeah, okay, so there's mine. There you go. Some of you will get this hot, some of us don't. Some of us have to copy this into our thing. But now you will see the feedback, and then we will talk about positive feedback. Okay, and of course you put in your email in here. I hope you see that this thing has all been set up to be rather user-friendly. Okay, there's the feedback. And I think the way this has been set up, we all got the same feedback, so you should be seeing that. Same picture. Okay, I think we're done with him, unless we want to do another protection, which we will not do. Okay, okay, so we'll go back to PowerPoint. Okay, so that's what I just did. Now let's talk about positive feedback protocol. I hope, I think we had 3 of you, and the key thing is you do this if you have a hit, miss, or pass. I believe now there's always something to learn. So hit, miss, or pass, this is what you do. You, on your transcript, you circle or mark in some way the matches on your transcript and enjoy. I can't remember whose name it was, but one person got a hit. That person will, of course, be extremely happy. The 2 of you that passed will likely still have some stuff which was good. Circle it, feel good about it. Maybe try to get a feeling of how that came in when the sub gave you that. There's always stuff to learn. And then the next thing, so, you know, you do that now. You're circling the good stuff, feeling good about it. And then on a new sheet of paper, do the RV session you wished you had done. In fact, let me show you. I have an example of that here. Okay, so this was the target for Simona. Oh, and you're here, Simona. And this was just a great positive. Notice you put PFB on top. You do a new session. It's a positive feedback session. And she captured all the elements, and she put a lot of words. And some of these words were not on her original transcript. And so she communicating with her sub. Next time I get, you know, something like this, you know, give it back to me, please. And you do this again with the sense of being in touch with your subconscious. So that's what you do on the new sheet of paper. You can be doing that now. And then I'm about to show you that is something which is new. Tom McNair reminded us of something that Lynn Buchanan had been doing for many years. So we put it in a user-friendly form in our HAG30 we approach. And then we always want you to be improving your communication skills. And we're going to give you some ideas on that, but they're best if they're your ideas. And during all of this, just enjoy positive emotions and feelings. You know, when you're in the UCC and left your physical life, you know, you have access to your whole life, and we've seen such good evidence of that. You'd want as much positive emotions as possible. And the ultimate positive emotion is love, joy. So as you're doing this, feel that, you know, hey, think of the last time you really had a really good time and bring that feeling into this process. So that was the Simona thing. I'm just reminding you of this, but
Hey, Marty,
yeah, let me give you a little more. Yeah, go ahead.
quick question. Do you happen to know what that figure A thing is? Is it some sort of living organism? Is it a
No, it's a
plastic
bunch of
model?
blocks. It's a bunch of blocks.
Oh no, mine is different.
Oh, okay. You got a different one then.
Yeah, I got a totally different one.
And I don't know what yours is.
Okay. I thought maybe it's set on there somewhere.
Because this was mine.
Okay. Yeah.
What did the rest of you get? Did you all get different ones? Okay. Anyway, your feedback is what you were looking at, and I do not know what it is.
It's a microscopic chalk organism, and the picture is black and white. You know, the symmetrical round shape chalk organism from the ocean.
Oh.
You know why I didn't make a prediction, and so that's why mine is different. Okay,
So I got the same one as you then, the other person who was speaking.
right. The organism. So she answered your question. And it's very small.
And now that I'm looking at it again, I'm thinking I really should have gone stronger on all the A stuff, which was that. And then as you were doing the roulette wheel, I was thinking, oh, this is going to come up A. You know what I mean? I was trying to like just with my intuition know, and I really got a strong image that it was A.
Okay, Teresa, thank you for sharing that, because what you have just done, and this is how we learn, you now go back, and some of the good stuff, even though you didn't count it the first time, you circle it now, because it's reminding you that I really should have done better. You know, your prediction is in, it's not going to change, but you want to remind yourself that next time, you know what, I really should be more attentive to that sort of thing. And that's so common. You know, after you see the truth, people will often go back and say, ugh, that is so obvious now. But of course, you want it to be obvious when you're doing the analysis, right? Okay. So, you know, you've now, and then I just don't know how to emphasize how important all of us, Joe McMonaco, Tom McNair, I think even Ingo Swann would say this, think the key is the feedback session. So do more to enhance positive feedback. I mean, this is the truth. And I'm just going to give an example. Let's say prickly or sharp was in the feedback. It wasn't in this one, but say it was. Then you want to say the coordinate out loud again, and you want to feel with intention, and you're improving a communication. You know, it's like you've landed in a foreign land and you really want to improve this language. And it's clear it can be done. There's some people who are so good at this, like Pat Price. He seemed to be right every time. They still wonder whether or not somebody killed him. That's how good he was. They were afraid. Oh, I don't want to put any fear in you. You get that good, nobody's going to kill you. They were doing it against the Russians. Anyway, that's one example. Here's another example. Maybe smooth and hard came in. Well, then say the coordinate out loud. And again, when I say, I mean, you can say it internally or out loud, but the intention is to have your subconscious get it and go all the way down to the UCC. So you might do that. What about soft and white? How about a pillow? And if it's only soft, you can do the pillow too, but you're going to focus on the soft part of it. Anyway, these are my suggestions. Yeah, I'm no different than you in this. We're all struggling to get up to the 70% level and become precog pros. You get 68% on your next 20 or your 25, and you become a precog pro. And I just keep doing everything I can to assist. And I'm starting to do sessions now too. So, okay, let's talk about VAT. VAT stands for Viewer Accuracy Table. And you now look, you've got these categories. You've given some big B's, a little b, you've left some blank. Go to your page where you had your feedback. You've got your feedback page, and this will be near the bottom. So I hope you all see it. If you're having trouble, let me know. And then click on it. Again, I'm just reiterating, I really think you should say the coordinate out loud. Now you're at feedback time. So say it out loud now might help, will help with the remote viewing. It's one way of entangling and showing you want to entangle. Okay, and it's the intention associated with that that matters. Okay, so when you get to your VAT table, okay, I'm not seeing anything in the chat box, so I'm assuming you're seeing this table. And you see, and now you fill it out. In this case, a person got kinesthetics, got some textures, gave it a 1. Color. Notice if they had predicted 2 and only 1 was right, under VAT, you give it a 0.5. If you had 4 colors and 3 were right, you give it a 0.7 or a 0.8. It comes in tenths, as you see when you drop down. Man-made and got 100%. But now what if you said vegetation and all there was a big building in the middle of the city and no vegetation? You should give it a 0. You need to learn and see how often that happens. So you will know that maybe it's like a reflex action. You assume vegetation, I don't know. Anyway, this is just being accurate for yourself. This is your percent accuracy with that. And then here, in this case, there was land. So it was a man-made on land, got both of those. So let me give you some time to do that.
So Marty, if I said object, seeing it up close, then does that fall under dimensionals?
Yeah. And if that's what you put for that one,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
So I would
But
put like I could give it a full 1 then maybe.
yeah, because that sort of implies, you know, a microscope.
Yes.
So I like that. Yeah, put that under dimensionals and give it 1. Now, some people may want to put it under other, but I think dimensionals is the right one here. You will build up your own kind of style. Any other questions? Okay, then once you do that, you need to submit it. And this is just one. The table you get by clicking the submit under here is the average of all of them. And we made a histogram-like structure. And at the beginning, like motion, there are only 4, but you got 80% of those 4 right. This person did. Sky, there was only 1. Why that's 90%, I'm gonna have to look into that. But other, there were 4, 67%. Anyway, you can see the basic histogram. So, this may be an old one. I have been making changes. And so hopefully yours will be correct. And if you ever see anything which isn't correct, please let me know as soon as possible. Not only are you helping me fix the program, or you're helping others getting a more accurate program. Please don't hesitate to do that. You know, I'm still making changes, which I think will make improvements, but I'm now doing them very carefully so we don't have any downtime. Okay. So I think we're done. This is my last slide. And I'm just putting another perspective on all of this. Notice the remote viewing is done here. This I psi is like the deep psychic part of you that you're trying to make deeper and deeper. And then later in time, this is still you, right? Here you are. Again, you just did a feedback session with a lot of intention, attention, expectation. You're lighting this up in your sub and in the UCC as much as you can, so that this one will pick it up. So this is real entanglement, precog entanglement, retrocausality entanglement. Notice it's both you, but you're not the same you as you were here, right? Things have changed. You saw other aspects of this presentation. Usually it's the next day or a few days in the past for financial, at least, also for sports. So you're not the same you. So that's why I like to call this precognitive telepathy. There's a kind of telepathy going on here where you're sharing information. And then I think this idea of quantum waves, the UCC, this ultimately is quantum mechanical. There's something going on very deep at the UCC level, which talks to the physical world. I think it's through the 0-point energy field, but it doesn't matter how. That's my physicist part trying to explain it, but we know it does it, right? And so the UCC, all that is, any other words you want to use, they're all non-local. That's how you get this connection with time. And these things are there. You just have to bring them into your consciousness. And then you really are living in a physical world that is entangled with non-physical realities. Skip Atwater used to like the expression outside of space and time. But that's what we have here. These two are in the UCC. This is you deep in the UCC. Somehow, all of you is down here. Here, you got these fuzzy boundaries in the physical world. Okay, I am done. Oh, this took an hour and 5 minutes. Please ask me questions. I want comments. I will be doing this at the conference. In some ways, this was a practice for me. And I can see it takes about an hour this way, but any questions, any comments? Okay, so maybe
Hey, Marty.
Yeah.
Thank you. I haven't tuned into any of these, so I hadn't yet seen what your new setup was. You know, it's been a while for me, I guess. So thanks for running through this real quick. I did appreciate it. And I like the idea of people using their kind of intuition. Maybe, you know, either check A or B using some sort of a pendulum, or just thinking about it and then go asking yourself, well, really, was it A or B, and see if it, you know, is the same as what you might have thought. Or I don't know. I just think bringing intuition in it probably isn't a bad idea, but what do you think?
no, I think this is so personal, right? You can't get more personal what you're doing here. And it has to feel right to you. If that feels right to you, you should do it. Ask for confirmation with the pendulum. And you should know some people are just using the pendulum and all they put in is big A, little a, or blank, and big B, little b, and blank. They think that they're pendulum or arm motions. You know, a lot of people use this arm thing where you have pressure on you. Is it for
Muscle testing? They're muscle testing.
And there's so many other ways. And that can be used here actually very easily, because all that matters is little a, blank, big B, little b, blank.
So are the people that are using their intuition like in that fashion, either pendulum or muscle testing, are they having good success?
Same as everybody else.
Okay, 50-60%.
No precog pros. There's, I don't know, maybe the universe is trying to stop us. I will tell you that I'm going to give this, I don't know, at least another 6 months. But if there isn't this breakthrough, if people don't sort of spend more time with their feedback, get more serious about it in some fashion, you know, we're well past the time where people should be fooling around with this. Now we have many who have been around for a long time. And if they can't figure it out, maybe the universe, you know, it's clever and it gets to operate on individual basis, on groups. So I may just simply stop the pre-con. I
can
will start
add,
doing it.
Marty.
Go ahead.
Linda here. To the thing you said now, just said about improving our hit rate. So for me personally, I have these 5 tasks a week. I do one every day. I think I'm now 1 year in the APPI.
Yep.
And so I got to know my subconscious. I learned now how it speaks to me, and there are factors that I now understand make me improve my hit rate, and that is how I feel. If I'm not well, and then I almost could do some statistics, and do I feel well or not well? And it's really, I have to feel well and in a certain harmony within myself, and then I can understand what my subconscious is telling me. And not only that, even if I think, if I don't feel well and I do have matches, very good matches, it will be a displacement if I don't feel well. If I feel well, it will be a hit. So I think that part might be a factor for others too, to feel well and then do the viewing.
I totally agree with you, because when you're feeling well, you are closer to your deeper subconscious self. And when you cool down a little more, I think it's better. Anyway, doesn't matter what the explanation is. That makes sense. And I've seen that in other people. A woman getting a divorce, she liked doing it so much, she kept doing it even though her hit rate was going down consistently.
Yeah.
And I want to say one other thing about this, which I think is so important. Even if hit rates don't go up to say the 70% level, you know, and roughly with staying there, I might give up the Precog Pro program. I will never give up the ability for people to do the remote viewing, because just as you said, I get so much feedback from people who tell me they're learning so much about themselves. So I will never stop that.
Yeah, it's really great way to expand the consciousness, because you get flabbergasted each time when you see that you have a hit and that you just saw it before it came, and that's always something for life. That's something you keep in your personal heart, and it's
Go for it. Go when you feel really well. Some people might think they can cool down and get to where they feel well, but it's much better if you're going into it just feeling well and positive. Teresa, I saw you had a thumb up, a hand up.
Oh, I just wanted to say that I liked the fact that you were going to stick with doing this, because I do think this is very valuable for society.
Yes. Yes, I agree. And I'm hoping we can come up with more ways to get more people to participate. But no, the straight remote viewing predictions is something I intend to do forever. I suppose I'll die someday, but until then.
Don't say that.
Many, many years from now.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, that is my intention to do it forever. Any other questions, comments? Okay, then why don't we end this now? And I do that by stopping that. And I'll end this for all of us. And thank you all for joining me in this.
Thank you very much, Marty.
Yeah, you're all very welcome. And
Thanks, Marty.
okay, you're welcome. But you realize that I enjoy this and I couldn't do it if there weren't people like you who would join with me. Anyway, keep precogging,